Salvete! Hello everybody, welcome to this video. This is an intermediate Latin reading video for those who already have some experience with the language, who have learned the basic declensions, conjugations, and have some sense of Latin syntax. Let's do a little bit of reading. So this is a short story, much like the other ones if you've been following, and this is taken from Greek mythology, and it's the story of Orpheus and Eurydice. So as usual, I'm going to present the text in short sections. Pause when it appears, see if you can work it out, do any necessary little research or checking in dictionaries or whatever you need to do if you like, and then unpause it and I'll go through it as best as I can. So first section, let's see if it appears on your screen. Pause when it does so, guys. Right, let's have a look at this. Let's read through it first together. Omnium olim poetarum notissimus erat Orpheus, multae de illo fabulae narrantur, quotiens Cythera ludebat, posse non solum animalia, sed etiam arbores et saxa trahebat. Right, so that's our first short section, little introduction. What I like about these passages, it's taken again from Hillard and Botting's elementary Latin exercises, and whilst it is certainly simplified Latin, the authors have attempted to adhere to typical Latin word order, which is slightly different from English word order. So this way of starting the sentence with something like omnium olim poetarum is very Latin. Hopefully you recognized immediately that omnium is genitive plural, of all. Poetarum from poeta, which is a first declension word. Of all poets, of all the poets. Olim, once upon a time, at this time maybe. Notissimus erat, superlative adjective from notus, noted, most famous of all, was Orpheus. Of all the poets once upon a time, or back in history or something like that, olim, once, notissimus, the most famous, was Orpheus. Alright? So your subject is Orpheus erat. Multae de illo fabulae narrantur. Right. So what's our subject here, guys? Well, the subject is fabulae. Singular would be fabula, a bit like a fable, a story, a tale. It's nominative plural. Multi agrees with it. Feminine. Many tales or stories, present passive, are narrated, are told. De illo. De means about or concerning. It triggers the ablative case. About him. Illo. Ablative singular. Masculine. Multae fabulae narrantur. Many tales are told about him. Quotiens Cythera ludebat. Each time, as often as he would play, ludere, to play, Cythera, he'd play on the, Cythera is the ablative expression for using the instrument. It's a stringed instrument, the Cythera. As often as he would play the Cythera, the instrument, posse non solum animalia sed etiam arbores et saxa trahebat. So let's find our verb. He, imperfect, he would traher is to pull or to drag. So drag along. Post se, in this case it would be behind him, after him or behind him. He would drag along behind him. Non solum, not only animals, animalia, sed etiam, but also. Non solum sed etiam, learn that one. Not only, but also. It can also mean but even, depending how you want to translate it. Arbores et saxa, trees and rocks. So it's a neuter second declension. Saxum, plural here in the accusative saxa. So as often, each time that he would play, whenever he would play the Cythera, he would drag behind him, form a train almost of followers, not only of animals, but also of trees and rocks. Okay, so very well done, guys. If you got that, that's our first little section. Let's move on. When it appears, pause. Okay, let's, a bit longer this time, let's have a bit of a read together. Eistem kitharai dulci sono, argonautai navem in mare deduxerunt, et Draco aure velleris custos, sopitus est. Uxorem ille Euridicen ante omnia amabat. Haec ubi vita excessit, et ipse ad manes descendit, uxoremque a Plutone petivit. Right, so this first sentence is a bit tricky actually. We start with a genitive. Eistem kitharai, of the same, it's genitive singular, of the same, from idem, of the same kithara, dulci sono. Now, this isn't a nominative, the word is sonus, sound. It's a masculine second declension. So what we hear is an ablative. Sono is ablative. By the sound, dulcis means sweet, it's ablative singular, agreeing with the sound, dulci sono, by the sweet sound of this same instrument, kithara, nominative, the Argonauts deduxerunt, they led, navem, from navis, accusative, their ship, to the sea. So they put to sea, basically. So, with the sound, because of the sound, on account of the sound of this sweet sound of this same kithara, the Argonauts put to sea in their ship, and Draco, the dragon, who was custodian, guardian, next bit's genitive, of the golden fleece, you may know the story, guardian of the golden fleece, sopitus est, basically was put to sleep. Alright, so the music from the kithara, so basically using this sweet music, sweet sound coming from this same kithara, which Orpheus plays, the Argonauts put to sea, and the snake, the dragon in this case, who was guardian of the golden fleece, was put to sleep, passive. All right. Next bit, uxorem. Hopefully, as soon as you see that, you recognize it's an accusative. The nominative is uxor, feminine, third declension, means wife. So because it's uxorem, we know that she's not doing the action. Something's happening to the wife. Let's read on. Ille, right. Nominative pronoun, masculine. It's referring to Orpheus. He, Orpheus, uxorem Euridicen, his wife Eurydice, again accusative there, ante omnia, before all things. Omnia, neuter plural, before all things, literally ante plus accusative. So above all, amabat, he loved, in perfect tense. Let's just move the words around a little, guys. He, Orpheus, loved his wife uxorem Eurydice ante omnia, before all other things, above all. Eurydicain there is a Greek accusative. We don't need to worry about this. Her name was Eurydice. So he loved his wife, accusative uxorem, above all. Haec, right, what's that? Haec, pronoun, feminine, singular, this. Could also be a neuter plural, couldn't it, a haec? But if we read on, haec ubi vita excessit, we've got a singular verb from excedere, excessit, to depart. So it's talking about Eurydice, the wife. This person, she, Eurydice, ubi, when, she excessit, exited or departed, with an ablative, from life, when she passed away, when she died. This is quite normal in Latin, that you get the this haec referring back to the person in the last sentence, Eurydice, haec, this person. She, when she departed from life, vita, ablative excessit, from the verb excedere. Et ipse ad manes descendit, and he himself, who's this got to be? Orpheus. Ad manes descendit, he descended, he went down, ad manes. The manes, we get these a lot referred to on Roman tombstones. They are the shades below, the spirits of the dead. Very vague. The Romans had quite a vague concept of, wasn't very clearly defined what this actually meant, but the spirits beyond. So in any case, Orpheus has descended, has gone down to what the Greeks would call Hades, I think, to the underworld. Uxorem que being and, joining, it's appended to the word, and his wife, accusative, what? Plutone petiwit. Peto, peteri, to seek, to ask for. And he asked for his wife from or of Pluto, god of the underworld in mythology. So, when Eurydice excessit vita, when she passed away from life, he himself, ipse, nominative, descended, he went down to the underworld, to the shades, and asked for his wife, uxoremque petiwit, a ablative Plutone. Pluto, Plutone, a Plutone, from Pluto. Third declension. Right. Very well done, guys, if you've got all or most of that. I hope my explanation's making sense to you. It might be that there's a few things here to learn, and sometimes it's nice to take some of these sentences as model sentences and just learn them as examples of Roman syntax and way of writing. Let's move on to our next section then. So pause when it appears, guys. Okay. So he's gone down to see Pluto. Respondit Deus uxorem post te ad terram duces in terra iterum facium eius suspectabis tu primus ascendes si semel oculos retro veteris uxor tua ad manes descendet nec iterum ascendet. Right, so that's all in quotation. The god responded, the god of the underworld, Pluto, responded. Again, we've started with uxorem, which is our accusative, so we have to keep reading to find who's doing the action. Something's happening to the wife. Uxorem post te, in this case, after you, behind you, your wife behind you, ad terram, terra's the earth, ad takes the accusative case, duces, ducere is the verb to lead, it's third conjugation. What tense is that then? Duco, ducere, if it ends in es, present would be is, you lead. Duces is future tense. Es, second person, singular, third conjugation verbs. So you will lead your wife, uxorem duces, you will lead your wife behind you to the earth, back up to the earth. In terra, in the earth, we'd say on the earth. Iterum, again, adverb. Faciem eius, from facies, her face in this case, eius, of her, Eurydice, spectabis, you will look upon, future tense, spectare, spectas, spectabis, you will. On earth, again, it's from you will, behold, look upon her face. Tu primus, nominative, you first, ascendes, future tense again, the verb is ascendo, ascendere, third conjugation. You have to know that it's future tense here. Otherwise it would be is. And it's not an imperative either, that would be ascende. Ascendes is indicative. You will ascend first. Si, if, condition. Semel, if once, adverb, if once, if one time. Oculos retro veteris, if you shall, future perfect, if you will have turned your eyes, retro, back, if you will have looked back just once, semel. Uxor tua, your wife, nominative. Ad manes descendet, future tense, your wife will descend to the shades, to Hades, nec and not, iterum again, ascendet, future tense, and will not ascend again. If you should look back, when they're projecting to the future, and the first part will usually be in the future perfect. If you will have looked back, then she will descend, because the one thing happened before the other. We don't tend to bother with that in English, so it's a bit more precise in the Latin. So you ascend first. If one time you will have looked back, you will have turned your eyes back, literally, your wife will descend to the shades, and not neck. Notice you don't say et's known, that's incorrect. Neck or neque, and not or but not. It's from ascended, and she will not ascend, she will not come back up again. End of quote. So that was Pluto speaking. So, bit tricky. Alright, I hope you're enjoying this, I hope you're getting there. Okay, next section, a little bit shorter, pause when it appears. Okay, Maximo tum gaudio discesserunt, propiam terram venerant, ubi poeta propter ingentem amorum, oculos retro verdit, statim Eurydice ad manes reverdit. Goodness me. Maximo tum gaudio discesserunt. Alright, we don't have an explicit nominative. This happens very often in Latin. You just have to read the continuous text and know who you're talking about. We've got a perfect tense, plural verb, third person plural. It's they. Discedere is to depart, to move off, move away. Discesserunt, so they went off, they departed. They being Orpheus and Eurydice. Maximo tum gaudio. So tum means at that time, then they departed. This is an ablative phrase here. With the greatest joy, with great joy, rejoicing. Gaudium, neuter. Gaudio, with great joy. Maximo is the adjective that accompanies it, also in the ablative case. Maximo tum gaudio. In Latin, often if there's a small word in the sentence, likes to pop it in the middle stylistically. So instead of saying Maximo gaudio tum, it's quite normal to say Maximo tum gaudio. Then, with great joy, they departed. Propeiam ad terram venerant. What tense is this venerant? Hopefully you recognize the verb venio, venire, to come. Fourth conjugation, venire. Venerant. Pluperfect. Prope, almost. They had almost come. They had almost come. Now, or already they had almost come, that's yam. Ad terram, to the earth, to the surface. Ubi, when, the poet, Orpheus, propter ingentem amorem, oculos retro vertit. When the poet, let's find our main verb, turned, vertit. Turned what? Accusative, his eyes. In what way? Adverb, retro, back. When he turned his eyes back, when he looked back. Why? Propter, which means because of, on account of. It's always followed by the accusative. Ingentem amorem. Because of his, ingens is huge. So because of his huge love, because of his great love for Eurydice. So, they had almost come to the earth, to the surface. Ubi, when the poet, on account of his great love, turned his eyes back, looked back, we'd say, wouldn't we? Statim, at once, immediately, adverb Eurydice, ad manes revertit. Eurydice, his wife, returned, perfect tense, to the shades. Postea, afterwards, adverb, semper Orpheus propter dolorem alias feminas contemnebat. Alright. Sorry, I've read ahead without telling you to pause there. Hopefully you've just had a chance to do that. Postea semper Orpheus propter dolorem alias feminas contemnebat. Afterwards, Orpheus, imperfect tense, he would always contemn, despise, look down upon, semper, always. Whom? Alias feminas, accusative, other women. Propter, we have this word again, because of. Last time it was propter amorem, because of love. This time it's propter dolorem, dolor, pain. Afterwards, after that, henceforth, Orpheus would look down upon, would despise other women because of his pain, maybe even his sorrow. Illa irratae hominis infelicis, corpus dilania verunt, tricky word, caput in Hebron fluvium de miserunt. My goodness, seems a bit extreme. Illi, who's Illi? Feminine? Is it a singular genitive? Is it a plural? Can we find a verb? Dilaniare is to... Alanius is a butcher. It means to tear to pieces. And it's perfect tense. Verunt is always they did. Third person plural, perfect tense. Illi, so it's got to be they, hasn't it? They, the women. So we had the alias feminas, so it's basically the feminae, the women, but illi, they, the women. Iratae, angry, irate. Tore to pieces, corpus, the body. Here it's accusative, but it's a neuter noun, third declension. Corpus and neuter nouns stay the same in the accusative, remember that one. So corpus. Tear to pieces, the body. Hominis infelicis, genitive singular, of the unlucky, unhappy man. Homo can be man or person, human being. So, of this unhappy person, of this unhappy man. Caput in Hebron fluvium de miserunt, de mitterate, throw away his head. They threw his head, the women, into Fluvius is a river, the river Hebrus. So the angry women, they being angry, tore to pieces the body of this unlucky, unhappy man, and threw his head into the river Hebrus. Well, don't we just love a happy ending? Sorry if that one's slightly gruesome at the end, but that's just the story I was reading. But there we go, short mythological story. But the main thing for us is, of course, that we're understanding the Latin, and I'm trying to be as diagnostic as I can going through this, pointing out adverbs and ablatives, so that you really, because that is necessary as you progress with Latin and get onto harder texts. The starting point really is to be able to identify the language components rapidly, and that way then, as the sentences become longer and more complex, you have a better chance of actually arriving at the meaning with some speed and certainty, and then the reading process is in itself more enjoyable and less painstaking, as many students of Latin over the years have found. So anyway, that's my little contribution for today, guys. I hope it's been helpful. I hope you've enjoyed it. And any specific questions, please feel free to drop in the comments. Give me a like if this has been good, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and I shall be back soon with the next installment. Alright guys, well later. Take care. Bye bye.